There we go. Coming into the space, coming into the energies of the day. Welcome. Welcome to another day as we move forward within this day and within the energies of this day. And got a lot of things to cover for you. Um, when you follow the dots, you know, when you look back and you can start following the dots of things, of whatever is happening within your life. You always see that, oh, okay, there's this. Oh my God, I should have noticed that. There's always some kind of trail, some kind of crumbs. But there's always reasons for these crumbs. There's always reasons for all of these, um, for you to have followed and for you to have not have noticed, right? So there's always a reason for it. That's what I feel. Um, I did so many notes today. Hello, good morning, Pam. There is okay. First of all, there's a lot of information coming through, and this is where I feel people have to really remain grounded right now. And a lot of people are not awakened to most of the stuff that is going on in the world right now and the things that are unfolding, especially over the last 8 hours. When we look into the outside world, I watch, I listen, I look at the astrology, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's exactly right on cue with what the planets are doing. And seeing and hearing different messages that come out or things that are coming out when people are, leaders are saying things. And then because there's always clues in what they're saying, there's always clues in what is unfolding. I mean, recently, NASA within the last couple of days kept on saying, be prepared, the internet may go down for months. And I mean, I've said that before, that the internet is probably going down. Many of you have said that as well. So this is okay. If it's going to go down, what's our next form? What's our next form of activities or how, for connecting, staying connected, etc. So that's why it's so important to have your community and create that community. And since we still have the internet and everything right now, it's that continual basis of connecting with one another. So all right, let me go and what I've been doing this morning, and I've been writing a lot of notes. And hold on, I go from one page to another page. There we go. Today, that was yesterday. Here we go. So what I feel with all of this energy and information that's coming through and things that I have started working on. So June 12th, I started doing a Kriya for self-awareness. And this self-awareness has really in a short time really cracked open a lot of things for myself and really opened up more of my awareness and bringing in a more connectedness with what my role is, or I feel my role is. And this is a energy, and it's happening with all of us, at different levels of how this is going on. It's a penetrating of the deep within our heart. So our heart chakras, our heart energy, which is our first consciousness. This is where we think from. I mean, we got our brain. Yes, we think it comes from here, but our first consciousness is our heart, and to come into our heart. This is our hearts are imprinted, connected. It is our subconscious programming. And here we are breaking a programming that has been instilled in us for generations and generations. And we see this being played out within the world around us. So we're seeing the war being played out in front of us. I mean, Russia's under martial law right now. Moscow is allegedly. I should say. We're not sure. I mean, videos are coming in, things are being said. So we are seeing these things happen. We are seeing where two senators in the States coming forward in putting pressure on sending more money to Ukraine. And this is where we are, these things are being played out. This is being played out. This is the old world being played out. When higher dimensional energies are coming in, and what is coming in to each of you, what is that energy that's coming in for each of you, especially with a lot of energies coming forth from Mercury. So Mercury is coming out of Gemini, and we may not have gotten the information, probably haven't gotten the information from that, because it's an emotional one. It's not so much an intellectual one. It's more of a emotional one. So as Mercury is heading into Cancer and will meet up with the Sun by, I think, the middle to the end of next week, that's where we're going to have that Gazini. That's where we're going to have that energy of information come through us. But it's going to be more of a, oh, I really feel that. Oh, that's a aha. So it's going to be a very emotional energy. We live on Earth. We live in this 3D dimension in order for us to connect with our bodies. It's so important for us to be connected with our bodies. Our bodies tell us things. They give us instructions. But many times we don't listen. Many times we're mean to our bodies, or we're upset with our bodies because we don't have the figure we want. We don't have the skin that we want. We don't have the hair. We don't have this. We don't have that. So we get mad and angry at our body. And instead of coming into a place of saying, "Oh, I'm in perfect harmony and wellness with my body. I'm in perfect harmony and wellness with my body." And coming into that, that's going to help us to ease with a lot of the tension, with a lot of the craziness that's unfolding in this world right now. And this is going to be for you personally and for the collective. Because within us shining and with us doing our work, we're cracking open a lot of ancient knowledge and wisdom from our ancestors that we have no knowledge of, ancestors that have been the ancient ones that have been lost, through time and space and connection and stories not being told all the time. We're accessing this through our own DNA, through our own energy fields in our expansion. And this is where this linear time, which we live in a linear time. This is information coming to us, accessing these streams, these new streams of consciousness that are coming into this linear time. And this linear time can be very heavy, it is the Saturnian energy. It is having to be a certain way, having to look a certain way, and do the things that you're supposed to do, because that's part of the linear time. When we are starting to access our heart center, our subconsciousness, this is where we will begin to open up and realize that we are more than just the linear time that is set in this construct of what we are told we are supposed to be doing. Because within this energy that's coming in and the transformations that are coming forward, we are going to be illuminated. There's going to be this surging of upgrading. And many times when there's a surge of upgrading or this energy that's coming forward, we can get very lost. We can get very, we don't know what to do with it. So this is why it is so important right now for us to really come into that groundedness, for us to come into that space where we are able to create and recognize what we need to be doing. So this is a clearing. This is for us to a learning, awakening, developing. This is for us to gather. Again, I'm going to say gather in groups. Maybe there's a course that you want to take, or there's a group that you want to go into, and it's like, well, I've done that stuff before, but getting back to the basics is really part of learning. It's part of that connection, because you may have taken it before, you may have learned it before, or you think you have, but there's something new that's going to come in. So this is engaging action with your intuition and with your body. So there's a lot of energy that's coming into the body. So when there's energy coming into the body, we really have to be aware of how we're feeling, where our anxieties are, where our body aches and pains, restlessness, our thoughts, our overthinking. Where's that path going? Where's our, are we overthinking? What are we overthinking about? Um, Being aware of those things, being aware of that, so that we can actively begin to take the changes and be active with this energy. We're also coming into the first quarter square of the moon on Monday. So this is to take actions on what you have been setting out to do. What have you been setting out to do? Maybe there's a fear of not wanting to go forward with whatever action it is. It could be a forward action on crocheting. It could be a forward action on maybe looking for a new job, maybe going back to school. Maybe it's a forward action on whatever. This is like an inkling that your body's saying, oh, I feel I really need to do X. It could be, oh, I feel like I need to take a trip out to Lake Louise, right? This is what it is, right? No, but this is part of the energies. This is part of the energies that are coming in. And you must feel it. This is funneling in. This is coming forward to you, and taking that time to integrate it and not dismiss it. And with Saturn stationed, Saturn's sitting at this one point in Uranus, or in not Uranus, in Pisces, and Neptune is going to be going retrograde in a couple weeks, and then we have Venus that is going to be going retrograde. There's a lot that we're going to have to integrate and work within our own selves and within the collective, and witness within the collective of seeing a lot that is going to be falling, and seeing these downfalls. And I always say that Canadians are kind of, well, I think, well, not just Canadians, but many are in a disillusioned by what is actually going to be unfolding over the next several months, and feeling like without, and not being prepared, for, and I'm going to say I'm not totally prepared for a lot of things that could unfold as well, but being aware of it and knowing that I can figure shit out pretty quick and get through things pretty quick. So this is where the funneling's coming in. This is where the energy's coming in, and the movement. So we need to look at how we are going to connect, and this connection has to do with movement. How are we moving our body? Doing a meditation movement, allowing your body to move, like they do in Qigong. If you do Qigong, or if you do any other types of movement, this is a primal time to really step in to that movement, allowing for that energy to move through, getting out, going for walks in nature, having that connection. Yesterday, Mateus and I went to the Edworthy Park, and he went to the playground and stuff. And then, of course, he wanted to go to the river. And Mama allows him to take off his shoes and socks and go in the river. And he went into the river and took off his shirt. And he was, the river was freezing cold, but he loved it. What did he do? I got a pile of rocks over here, picking up all of these rocks, picking up all of this all of these different, things, and he's moving the rocks around, and he said, and he picked up these great big rocks out of there, and I said, well, I can't take that home. And he goes, no, it doesn't want to be there. We have to redirect the water in a new way. I don't know what that meant, but I said, okay, redirect the water. And then I'm thinking, water's emotion. Redirect the emotions in a new way. And I was just like, does this kid know what he's saying? He just knew that he had to move the rocks because the rocks had to move in a new way. The energies had to move in a new way. And these rocks were stopping it. And I thought, oh my God, that's like, out of the mouth of babes, right? Sometimes they don't know what they're saying. They just, this is what I feel I need to do. And I'm going to move these rocks. These rocks are blockages, the blockages that are coming in, and I have to move them. And sometimes in moving them, that's why we have to move our bodies. That's why we have to shift. That's why it's so, for me, coming back into my yoga practice, coming back into my my energy, this energy is so vitally important, because I don't have the so-called Instagram body for yoga, but that's what, see, yoga, that's not what yoga is. Yoga is not about the Instagram cute, perfect little cutesy body. Yoga is about the internal growth of oneself and one's expansion. Yoga is about bringing in what it is that you need to move through and allowing for that movement to go through, right? And coming into it. So, does golf count? My happy place outdoors if I can't be on water. If golf does count. I mean, you're out there, you're in there. But the thing okay, yes, it does count, but as long as it's not a avoidance of what needs to be done with oneself spiritually, mentally, physically, and spiritually within oneself, right? So, I mean, if you're out there playing sports, whether it's tennis or golf or whatever it is, making sure that there's a connection with what it is that you're doing and how that connection is within one's body, right? So that's what's so important. If we're doing it, I mean, we're human. We do shit for avoidance. Like, I don't want to deal with what's going at home. I don't want to deal with the dishes. I don't want to deal with whatever. But this is where that responsibility is coming in, where we have to not do the avoidance. I'm very good at avoiding shit. Just an FYI. I stuck at a fucking job for over a year to avoid things that I needed to do. I mean, there was a reason for the job. There was a reason for me to have it and do what I was doing. But there was also a time when inside myself, I knew that I had to leave. But, you hang on to it. There's a part that of yourself that is like, I can't let this go, you know, because of XYZ, whatever that reason is. I can't let it go because of this or that. So this is I'm watching Bernie all day. This is where we look at where we need to look at our routines and what's supporting and shifting us so that we can go from, our higher mind, come into our higher mind, experiencing our true selves with everything around us. You want to be in that vibration of joy. But we know that here we are having this soulful walk in a human body. Not everything, things can trigger us. People will trigger us. Certain situations will trigger us into being angry, mad, upset, whatever it is, right? So we have that energy that will move us in certain ways. But in realizing that, we are to be able to bring ourselves back, because we have this atomic and subatomic energy within us, the structures of our DNA. So we're accessing that energy within us so that we have control of ourselves consciously and unconsciously. That's where this light is. That's where this energy is. And as we are accessing this energy, as we are coming into this newness, we see the craziness of the world. We see these things playing out, and we see as they're being played out, and the people that are in them and the roles that they're playing within that structure of it all is like having ourselves to be able to remove ourselves from it. I've watched some beautiful videos and of beautiful spiritual people that do live in that are in Russia, right? Of course, there's spiritual people that live in Russia, right? It's not just here, but how they are wanting to connect with nature, how they are wanting to connect and build a new community, build that of a community to connect with other people. That's why they're doing their outreach. On YouTube and other social medias. So we are learning to work within ourselves and trusting our directive, trusting that directive of saying, you know what, we have stuff to do. So we have to get out there and start to do it. And in doing that, being mindful of any decisions, a need for balance, a moderation, a reassessment. This is our personal goals. So, this is where we have to be mindful of the time within our long-term goals. What are our long-term goals? What is it that we are wanting to work with and create? So this is a new spiritual insight within all of us. And the hermit card, I love the hermit card. This is where the hermit card can be good, it could be bad. We could be that hermit and then not get out and connect with anybody, which is not a good thing. This is where the hermit card comes in and describes a soul searching journey in the pursuit of truth and purpose and harmony, awakening to a sense of spirituality that is illuminating our life in a fresh and vibrant ways. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to take that time, that soulfulness, that substance, and then be able to come out and connect and create and enhance our soulfulness and ourselves even more. So this is reconnecting. And how can you recognize the tools that are readily available to you? And how to connect with that is that you have to come into self. You have to come into the body. You have to come into that connectionness, that soulfulness within ourselves. It's there. And it's acknowledging your truths, your talents, your skills, and that truly lie within you. But don't be discouraged if you fail at something first. Don't be discouraged because something didn't work out the very first time. It's like going out and figure skating and thinking that, oh, I can go do a double axel, and it's like you haven't even done a jump, you haven't even been on skates before, but you think you can go and do something. There's training, there's technique, there's time. And the more you do it, the more you stay at it, the better you get, right? So this is where this energy is coming in. So it may feel like a force is preventing you from reaching that higher self. There might be that energy that's preventing you from reaching it, but connecting with your heart, again, coming back, connecting with your heart is deeply on a daily basis. Doing this on a daily basis, connecting with oneself. What do I need to do today? Who do I need to talk to today? And you may not get that answers right away. It may not be until you're in the car, and then all of a sudden you're driving and you get this sort of feeling, I think I need to turn at the lights, or I'm going to turn here, or no, I'm going to stay on this road. This is what I need to be doing. The more you start to tune in and listen, the more information will start to come to you, the more it'll direct you, the more it'll come and put you into the right place where you need to be. The fear of doing so, there is a resistance for making the change. There's a resistance within all of us because of our ego, because of what we have learned, what we've been told. It's so easy for us to get dumbed down. Now we got to look at what else is going on in order to keep us dumbed down. It's our food. It's our water system. It's where things get closed off. They don't want you to have information. Why don't they want you to have the information? They don't want you to have the information because, right? because, oh, congratulations, you caught a trout. Awesome. You know, Charlene is out on the boat fishing. That's beautiful. So this is where these connections that we have to do, and following those connections, following that energy is imperative right now. And the more we start to do it, the more we start to be able to create that change. Our senses are getting heightened, and we are getting this boost, and this boost of energies coming in, and this unified source of consciousness. So we are picking up the small crumbs from source. We're picking up all these source, and then boom comes the big one, kind of like Pac-Man, and then eats the cherry. Whoop! And it goes all over the place, right? So this is our current level of consciousness and changing. So taking it in for this illumination, we are heading into a huge burst, from that portal of the summer solstice. We're heading into this burst of energies, and we are going to be finding the resistance. And that's, where my guides are letting me know that there is resistance, because many are not prepared. Many are not open for the change, like they haven't been for some time. They want to stay in that safety, or that cult that has been formed. They want to stay there because it's easier to be there. It's easier to, so somebody else, waiting for somebody else to do it. Years ago, when I worked at Sunterra and at Starbucks, this is where I two girls, two Hutterite girls from Manitoba were working with me. Absolutely beautiful girls. They're sisters, and they both did not want to go. They've got their cousin to come out, and their cousin was having a hell of a time. She could not adapt. It was very difficult for her because she had to do things for herself. She had to figure things out for herself. Yes, there was a community, that, to support her, to help her. But for her, it was like, no, I just want to go back, and I just want somebody else to tell me what I need to do. I don't want that type of, I don't want freedom. I don't want the freedom. And that's why right now so many people find it so easy just to follow what's being told, because they don't want to deal with the truth of their own freedom. And in that, where did I just write this down? And here we go. My notes. I'm going to start numbering my pages. In that, this is where back in 1820, 1830, in a town called Tolpuddle in Dorset. This is in England. Tolpuddle sounds like something from Beatrice Potter, right? Tolpuddle. Love the names in England. Some of the names in England, I'm just like, oh my God. And it's in Dorset. Dorset's it's a very quaint, beautiful place. It's very, very beautiful. But there was a movement that started there. And I was listening to this and reading about this information. This is crazy shit that comes to me. And this is where these men came together to form a movement. These three men, it's called the Dorset, the Tolpuddle Martyrs. Now, the Tolpuddle Martyrs came together because this was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And this is where new equipment and everything was coming in for farming. This is where, machinery was taking over what men used to do and women used to do for jobs and work. And they were being exploited. It was horrific. They're being exploited. Now, as I was listening to this, I said, oh my God, that's so similar to what is happening now. where new technology is coming in and it's going to take over people's jobs. It's going to take over. So people are going to, and then people weren't getting paid back then. I mean, they weren't getting paid. They were unable to feed their families. They were unable to do the things that they wanted to do, to live, want to feed my family, want to, be within my community. So these men formed a group underneath a sycamore tree. Now, that sycamore tree is still there today. It is actually a part of the Heritage Society where you cannot damage that tree. Many didn't think it could be the same tree as it is now, but I was thinking, I said, this is in 1820. Well, that's like 100 years ago, right? Just, and in 100 years, which isn't that long ago, all right, about the changes of 100 years ago to now. Now, these men, when they got together, they formed their group and they were forming a union. But they signed a solemn pact, and it was illegal back then for you to sign a pact, to sign and say, hey, this is what I'm going to swear an allegiance to this group. And it was illegal in England to do that, but they did it. And because they truly felt a fair day's pay for a fair day's work, that's where that came from. A fair day's pay for a fair day's work. That's where that saying came from a little town in Tolpuddle, Dorset, where these men came out to bring it. Now, these men were found and they were tried and they were sent to Australia. Now, this is 100 years ago. Just think about it, 1820. Is it more than 100? It's more than 100 years ago. Yeah, because we're in 2020. This is 200 years. So this is, 200 years ago. Not that long ago. 200 years ago. They were sent to Australia, where everybody now wants to go to Australia for sun and surf and fun, right? They were sent there for hard labor and expected to die. Then they were pardoned. And when they were pardoned, they found that they were still alive. So they brought them back to England to be with their family. But these men soulfully wanted to bring in something for the people, the unrest. There is, and that's part of this energy, right? This is part of the energy that we're feeling. We're feeling this unrest. We're feeling this where it's like, okay, we have to create a change. We have to crack open. So this is where we're at. And part of that energy, part of that tapping into the higher self and the heart chakra has to do with a lot of these changes that are coming in to our world right now. When it comes into work, normal work, what's going to be taken over? Well, soon we're not going to see tellers. Soon we're not going to see it's going to be all automated, so they say, until the internet goes down. So this is where it's like, okay, let's create the change that we want to create. Let's create what it is that we want to do. But it has to happen within each one of us. It has to happen into us. And it has to start with our heart chakra. That connection within the body, that connection within ourselves, in order for us to be one and in harmony. So there you go. My little Tolpuddle story for you guys today. But sending you guys out so much love. I got to go because I have an appointment with a client. Oh, it's so wonderful to say. And may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. Get outside, get connected. The power to shift your energies onto a new course is strong enough to navigate and face life's challenges at every turn. It's there for you all. So Moti be. Blessings. We'll talk to you all soon. And I will have information tomorrow about my new sale that's going to be coming out starting on Monday. And it's only for little 15-minute readings. It's going to be the cost for a 15-minute reading. If people want the 1-hour reading, it'll be the regular price. But if you just want a quick 15-minute reading, one-on-one, bang, get you booked in. Let's get it done. I will come out with the prices and I'll let you know tomorrow. So blessings to you all, and onwards and upwards, everybody. And let's do Feeding the Ducks, right? I love that song. You just like, so blessings, everyone. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.